December of '91. I was in a van and I hit some ice, and I went into a ditch and I hit a field road and it rolled end over end, and it was a T12L1 injury, and it was complete.
Christy and her family were very focused on the agricultural components and the commitment to the land and providing vegetable farming. With some assistive technology, or perhaps approaching from a different direction, she would be able to handle more effectively for herself and take a larger role in the farm activities.
We just researched the different things we could do, and it made the most sense to do the LLC for liability reasons. You know, when you're selling produce, you need to be careful, just simply because, and we are meticulous the way we wash things and box things and grow things, and we were very careful. But even so, it was just an extra element of protection there. And I needed to be a 51% owner, and so the two just made sense, to have some protection and to put me as 51% owner at the same time. So that's the reason we went with the LLC.
What were some of the barriers that you faced as a farmer with disabilities?
Well, obviously there's things that are more difficult for me than others. There's certain produce that if it's on the ground, the zucchini is one of them, that it's harder to pick.
My job was always the washing. I always washed and I always boxed, and then this year I delivered.
Just anything that's on the ground made it harder, but that chair helped because that chair goes lower to the ground. It's just what makes sense time-wise, and we have a really good system, I think, now that, he does most of the harvesting and I do the other end of it, so, and then I do all the paperwork and the bookwork. We have some fantastic hoes. Not all hoes are created equally, so we have some really high-quality hoes, stuff like that. A lot of it's manual. We have some good tillers, and the tractor is the thing. You helped us purchase that tractor, and it made a huge difference. It saves us a lot of time, because the tillers that we have were walk-behind tillers, and they took an enormous amount of time for him. And when we got the tractor, it was the gift of time. We just would try to manage our time the best that we could. But then in July we got the lift, and so now I can use this porta-lift system, and I can get in it, all by myself and go. So he doesn't. When we need to do things like that, and he doesn't have time, then I can go out and I can, put the attachments on and get rid of the weeds through the center aisles, things like that. That really, he just doesn't have enough daylight hours. So that will be very helpful. Just the different attachments that we have on the tractors that make it a lot easier. Now I will be able to get on there by myself with the porta-lift and do those. It has a wagon that has an attachment, so I can take it out and I can fill it with different mounts that mount onto it, and so I can put my smaller tools that I use, any hose, or it has a place that I can just attach it right on there and take them with me, so I don't have to try to carry all that.
The porta-lift for the tractor and the track chair both helped, because that track chair is kind of tricky to get into for really either my littler motorized chair or my manual chair, and so with that I'm able to safely get into it, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. And the tractor as well, because in order to get in the tractor, Andrew had to help me, and and he does a great job. It just wasn't a good thing for him, or it was hard to get in the tractor. So not only did it enable me to get in the tractor, but it enabled me to do it safely. And the track chairs, especially the track chair, because the track chair is honestly the one that I get in several times a week, if not every day in the summer. So yeah.
A lot of different places that you can go to get small business grants, but for someone with a disability, this IVRS program was perfect, because it's more catered towards people who are in my situation or in their situation, and so it's a little different than some small business grants in that way. And I would just recommend your agency, and I think that there's challenges. There's challenges in anything you do. There's weather challenges every single year, and there will be. But just keep on keeping on and be persistent. My case moved to me when it opened. It moved very quickly, and I'm very grateful for the equipment and for everybody there that helped me, and I really enjoyed my time working with Oak Rehab and the people there, and I just really am very grateful for all that you've done.